dream is to play in college, but of course his goal is D1, of course. So
of course, good. It's a good goal. So it makes him a good soccer player. That's awesome. Now, having said that, there was a longer video that I was trying to have him make sure you saw as well. Did you guys get a chance to see that?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much for watching that. So that is to say, I want to start this discussion with a little debate. Is that okay?
Sure.
I'm going to play one side and then I'm going to have your son play the other. Ready? I think it's too early for you to start this recruiting process. You're too young. You should wait. Why do you think, Mr. Austin, it's important to start now?
I think it's important to start now so I can get my name out there and show people what I really do, because as a goalkeeper, it's going to be harder for me in general. So if I start earlier, I feel like it'll be easier in the long run.
Yeah, goalkeeping makes things a little bit different. For your mom, if I was debating with you the same, I think it's too early for him to start. Why do you think he should get started now? Or do you think he should get started now?
I do think he should get started now. One of my biggest concerns, we live in a very rural town, so it's hard to get noticed here. Our high school is only like a 3A school, so we don't have a big high school. He's just now getting exposed to higher level clubs, and so he's been putting his name out there. But I think the earlier we start the process, the sooner he can get noticed and hopefully by more schools versus waiting too late.
Love that. I love hearing that. And you guys saw in the video too that obviously you win the argument. Good job. You win. Is to say when we, in your case, the position as well as our location, and I was from a rural area too, we have to do things that are a little bit different than other people. So it's awesome that you also understand that. With that in mind, I kind of want to go over the agenda for today. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So the goal today is to learn a little bit more about each other. Now, I know a little bit about you from the video and your son's information that he submitted, but I want you guys to interview me and get to know me a little bit better. I also want to see, I'm going to write this out so you can see the screen and see what I'm saying, is I want to see if I want to get to know you and I want you to get to know me. Number 2 is I want to scare you away and make you quit. Because if I can make you quit, then mom, we don't have to do anything and we just chill and life is a lot easier. Does that sound like a good plan?
Sure.
Okay. And then also is, the other thing is, by the end of today, we have to figure out if we're the right fit. And the reason is I don't have that many spots and I need to know who I'm going to work with. And especially when it comes to positionally too. So with that in mind, my first question for your son is this. Right now, how many phone calls have you had with Division III schools?
I have none.
Okay. And if I said to you, did any schools talk about coming on a visit this past fall and like watching you play or watching the team play during the fall season?
No, they have not.
Okay. And what do you think you need the most help with right now?
I'd say getting on a higher level club team and just getting out there, because as a goalkeeper, like they already have goalkeepers and I need to know how to get on a team, because every time I go, they say they already have goalkeepers.
Yes, this is definitely a dilemma for sure. No doubt about it. Now, having said that, what do you think he needs the most help with?
I think that, and also just if I'm being a realist, I have been told by multiple friends, because in the soccer family, you have lots of older soccer kids. D1, we're told constantly that they are recruiting more out of the States than in the States, and goalkeepers are even harder to get recruited than field players. So with that being said, like I would love for him to go D1, but I also am open to D2s and D3s. His dream is just to play soccer. He loves soccer. And, after college, he wants to be a teacher and coach soccer. I mean, his life is soccer right now. Mm-hmm. So I think I just want him to understand that if we don't get to D1, that's okay. But his goal is just to play soccer in college. And I think with your help, we could figure out the right fit for him, because I think education is important too. With his major, if that is teaching, if he decides to stick with that goal. So that's my goal. And then also, like he said, with the team right now, we've held him back. I feel like he's had some opportunities to play at a higher level, and his parents have said no. I regret that now that he's older. We should have let him travel farther to play at a higher level team. He got to guest play this year on a National League team, and then he got invited to play on another National League team. And so that team actually wants him. So we're already, on the right track with that, which is great. And that's all him. He's put his name out there. He's been messaging coaches, networking with fellow players on those teams. but I still think that I never played soccer. I'm not a collegiate athlete. So I'm a little ignorant when it comes to this. So I feel like he needs more guidance than what his parents can give him.
Really well said. Thank you for that. And I want to say to your son, because he wrote it on his note, he knows it's a challenge, but I think he can do it. This level of passion is kind of the kids I'm trying to find in the world. And I was just like you. I'm from a rural area. Eventually, I did have to drive far. My dad's a surfer. I didn't know anything about soccer. And I played pro for 10 years, and I'm 5'6", and I was very short. I played JV soccer in high school, and with no college interest. So your passion and story, and I was kind of the same as you. I told my parents, if they don't help me, I'm going to walk out of the house and do it myself at 14. And they were very supportive, but they just didn't know. And that's a large reason why I love doing what I'm doing. And because we're on the same page that education is important, we know that college is our pathway. In addition to being an American, that's kind of the way we do this. So I appreciate what your mom is saying, which is statistically, it's unlikely you'll play college soccer. Those are the statistics. Forget about international and division. Just college soccer in general is unlikely. But the motto I kind of have is, why not you? They got to pick somebody. So that doesn't scare me. The bigger issue that I'm always concerned about when I pick students to work with is, are they willing to put in the work I'm going to put them through? Because if they are, good things tend to happen. If they're not, then we've all wasted time, and that's no fun. Which is why I'm trying to scare you away before we get to that point. Which is then to say to your son, why are you so passionate? This usually doesn't come out of nowhere. Why do you want to play college soccer so badly?
I don't really know how to explain it, but it's just like, it's always been a dream, and it like, I'm gonna say this. It's just like, it's the one thing I'm really, really good at, and I want to strive at that and work really hard at that to see how far I can go with it. I mean, I do like soccer. I love soccer very much, and I'm good at it, so I'm just trying to go as far as I can. I don't know how to put it in other words.
Okay. Is it fair to say that, like, while you play soccer, kind of everything disappears and you just get to focus on being in one place?
Yes, very much so.
And so with that, like I said, I probably won't be able to scare them away today, given what I'm hearing, but it's to say that when they're this passionate, my next job, if I haven't scared them away, is how do we manage his addiction? Because unfortunately, your son is like, when you get bit by a zombie and you become a zombie, he's been bitten by the soccer drug. And one way or another, he's going to want to keep playing. So I guess I would ask your mom this question, which is, would you agree with me that academics come first?
Me? Yes, absolutely.
Excellent.
Because he still has to have a future after soccer, regardless of how it ends or how it gets started. So.
Yeah, very true. Very true. So with that in mind, academics come first. Why do you want to help him play college soccer? We could make him quit today and just lock him in a closet and focus on school. Why do you want to help him play college soccer?
It is his passion. I remember the first time he stepped in the net, he was 8 years old, which seems very young, and he was playing half and half, and he had one game, and I mean, all the parents, the coaches, like, they wouldn't take him out after halftime. And ever since that moment, I knew from it's his passion, it's his dream. He eats, sleeps and dreams soccer. I mean, he trains multiple days a week. He goes to private lessons. He's always looking at videos on how to improve himself. Like, if he wasn't passionate about it, I wouldn't put my time and money in it. But he's proven to me that this is a dream that he's willing to strive to achieve. And so as his mom, I'm super proud of him, and I want to support him. So
awesome. I love hearing that. Okay. So with that in mind, I kind of want to give a diagnosis of your situation. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So your son sent me some video, which was great. Now I got to see the video. Now, because it's on CapCut, I can't access it to show your mom, which I would like to do. So it doesn't have to happen now, but his video is not right. He's got to fix a lot of things. First of all, if I can access it, but because I'm technologically gifted, trained, college coaches are not. So if I can't show it to you, that's a problem. So his first thing is, technology wise, we got to sort the video out. But the video itself, when you say to me, like, can he play D1? I'm looking at a good soccer player. Now, if you said, like, can he play Division 1? I would say he can definitely play D3 or D2. Like, I'm confident about that. And that says a lot as a freshman, just so you know, because I don't say that to everybody. Division 1, I need his side volleys to improve. I need to see more clips of him making saves. And again, I'm judging him off of a 3-minute video. I've not seen him in person. I'm never going to see him in person. But my job is to take the perspective of a coach who would watch his video. That's why I don't see people in person. It's strategic. It's so because I need to keep the unbiased. What does a coach think of your video? Because most of the process is video. They'll see it at camp. They'll see it at showcase. The rest of it, 80%, is video. So in his case, we got to fix his video. That's number one. You guys saw this, I think, already, but we had mentioned like why to start as a freshman. You know, when you're going up against the odds is a goalkeeper, so they only need so many keepers. I don't know if you guys have heard, but there's some new NCAA rules that are going to really impact your son. And you live in a rural area and you're not playing quote unquote MLS Next and ECNL and Georgia and everything else. You know, we have to have some advantage. And this tool is part of our advantage. We can email every school in the country very quickly in a genuine way and stay very organized so we don't have anything slip through the cracks. And I think you've seen it already, but I'm always happy to share it because it's my pride and joy to some degree because it was my life savings. But basically, you can pick schools by major, by division. You can press select all. Obviously, I'm going to give him a list, and he has his own list, a tentative list. I press Dear Coach, #genuine, #school name, and it will automatically enter the school's name, the coach's name, something genuine for you through our help, and it will go to every single coach individually from your own Gmail. So within 3 days, we can email every school in the country if we wanted to, which we won't do every school, but we can do a lot of schools very quickly. The next thing is every time they don't respond, which is going to happen, it reminds you, hey, this school didn't respond to you. Should we follow up with them? And then it says every time he receives an email, it will automatically categorize it as, is it genuine? Is it a robot email? And it will tell you if it was genuine, if it was generic, and it will tell you when the camps are. So every time he gets invited to a camp, we as a family have to decide as a goalkeeper, is it worth our time or not? So the email system is really, really important to us because we can obviously be a lot more impactful. The other thing is you'll have this little robot. This is ChatGPT, but college soccer only. So anything college soccer related, it knows the answer. Like you can give it an email and say, is this a robot? And it will know. You can say, when is the ID camp for every ID camp in Georgia? It will know. It's like ChatGPT, but just college soccer. So it's really helpful because, and I built it, it's my clone. So I just fed it every video I could think of and it just memorized it. And then I fed it every website and it memorized it and so on and so forth. So it's pretty cool, but you're not going to get recruited off a robot. So we need to be able to talk to you, which we'll talk about. So going back to emails, we also have to pick which camps we're going to go to. Some of the camps I may veto you and say, look, your son's good. He's got good grades. Go to this camp. And as a family, we can obviously discuss if it's realistic or not. Other times I'll be like, this school really likes you. We should probably at least consider going. And we have to work as a team for this. Then we have to do an audit. So his video is a problem. I already mentioned he's already going to send some emails. I need to see what he's going to say. I need to touch it before he sends it out. And then you already talked about club soccer. So like we need to language, hey, I live in this area, but I'm already being invited to guest play here and guest, like that's a big deal. So how we phrase it is that's who he is. This is like who he is. We need to phrase it. So it's a little early to say, Austin, but you know what you want to study ish?
I mean, not really, if I'm going to be honest.
Okay. Do you want to be a doctor?
No.
Do you want to be an engineer?
No.
Okay, so mom, we already know he's not doing math or science. So the reason that's helpful is because now I know he's going to be business, communication. So that's, I already know basically all the schools with those majors. So I'm going to create a list based off of that. Then we have to find out who does he like. Now, Austin, I want you to ask me a question. I want you to ask me this. Why, Zev, do you think it's important that I start in 9th grade?
Why do you think it's important that I start in 9th grade?
So my brother played college soccer with, we went to different schools. He's younger than me. And I had the best experience ever. My father had a heart attack when I was in college and my coach was really helpful. I met my fiance in college and I just had a great experience. My brother went to a different school and didn't play a single minute. The coach was a complete prick and he had a miserable experience. And that's when I got it started helping kids. And the problem we made with my brother was we didn't take the steps to find out if he liked the coach. He liked the school. He liked the players, but the coach, as it turned out, lied. And we could have figured it out, but I didn't know. I was 19. I just didn't know. And we should have known that he would have never liked a player like my brother, who was shorter and had his features that he would never like. So now my brother and I play together all the time, and he's a very good soccer player. But my point is, it was a miserable college experience. So the reason I want kids to start in freshman year is to find out who you like. We need to interview the coaches, the director, maybe. We need to hear from other people. Like, I want the coach to go, I want you to play for 4 years, or you're going to redshirt because I want you to play for the next 4 years. Whatever it is, we want them to love you. Does that make sense? Okay. So in saying that, have you guys heard of these companies yet or not yet? NCSA?
Some of them. I've only heard of the NCSA because they've been my email and stuff on it.
Yes. They still email me wanting me to go to camps. So they don't stop. They're very aggressive. So the problem with NCSA in your scenario is their whole system is built on colleges will come to you. And you can go ask college at your next ID camp, say, do you like NCSA? Every coach will tell you they hate NCSA. The way NCSA works is they pay colleges to use their name and likeness, and they need the money to then promote their camps. So you can have an account for free if you want, but do not use them otherwise. The biggest thing is the difference between me and them is I believe in the model that you have to go to the coaches. You have to send them your Instagram, your YouTube. You cannot wait for them to come to you. So I want to edit all your videos. And as a goalkeeper, your life is different. I need training videos. I need crosses. I need corners. I need goal kicks. It's not normal. It's different for goalkeepers because it's more like I can show clips of one thing. If I show a center mid hitting the ball every time, it doesn't mean anything. For a goalkeeper, it's different. Does that make sense? The other thing is you have a problem games. You could go through a whole game where the coach comes and doesn't see you do anything, bad luck. So this is why we need video, obviously. So then you have the email system. Then we need to be able to speak to you all the time. So, which is what I mentioned earlier. They'll talk to you like twice a week on the call, and they'll be like, you should work on club soccer. And they won't even help you. Like, I want to email the teams with you. I want to know who you're emailing and what you're saying. I even want to tell some of the club teams you're already being recruited by colleges because we're going to do that as well. And that's super important when you talk to club teams because club teams want winning lottery tickets. So they'll like you a lot more if you're already being recruited. And then the final piece is in 3 months from now, I give you a refund if we're not what's called getting genuine interest. Once you sign up with them, you're locked and you can never get out, even if it doesn't work. And I know that because people say, hey, Zeb, we bought NCSA. Now we're going to work with you. Can we get out of our contract? And NCSA is very good. They will not let you out. So I want to pause there for a second and go back to our goals and ask your son, have I managed to scare you away and make you want to quit?
No, not at all.
Okay. Too bad, Mom. Now, is this for your Austin? Is this the type of help you're looking for?
Yes, very much so.
Mom, does this make sense? The steps like that I think he needs to take?
Yes.
Okay. So this is how it works to work with me on a day-to-day. Your son's going to get a coach plus me. The coach is a goalkeeper coach. Specifically, he played college soccer. I worked with him, and now he works for me. The reason it's important is I'm not a goalkeeper, so I'm not an expert at minimal things. But also your son does need to get the approval of the head coach, but it's pretty rare the head coach is also the goalkeeper coach. They're usually two separate people. So he actually has to talk to the goalkeeping coach, and the coach he's going to work with, this is what he does. Like he did it himself. He's a coach. He wants to coach in college one day. So he's kind of like a good coach for your son. Also mentor, somebody I'd like your son to be able to talk to when about goalkeeper things like, hey, I was really scared about corners or penalties or whatever. I just want him to be able to talk to somebody. Then Mom, you're going to have a channel, just you and I, without your son. So you can talk to me and say, hey, you said to go to this camp, but I'm concerned. And so your son doesn't need to know that if you just want to tell me. Then we'll have another channel with everybody, mom, dad, son, coaches, so we can just all communicate. We want to edit all your videos. So especially as a goalkeeper, you're going to have to get a tripod, which we'll give you one. Like we'll tell you which one to get. It's $12. And we need you to record yourself behind the goal at training, at games. We have to get that angle. We need game to go over the game with you. Like I told you, we need to work on your side volley. We need to work on your crosses. So I want to go over the game. I'm about to watch a lot of soccer, so we may as well go through it. Then you saw the Google Drive, I think, but this is like a goalkeeper. This will give you an idea. She's your age. She's your age, but it's a girl. And this is what hers looks like. So first of all, we have a ton of highlight videos, which we'll do for you as well. We have multiple videos, which we'll go over just like yours. The next thing is we have specific training videos where it's just from training itself. These are full game videos where it's every touch you took in the game. As you know, you use your feet more than your hands, like overall. And then you also need training videos. So we're going to have all your training videos and we're going to make it into one video. So that way you have everything in one place. Then we're going to upload all that to Instagram and to YouTube and so on and so forth. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then this is the other piece. Okay. Then you saw the AI thing, which is super important for us. Now, what's important, and because this is the scary part for mom to some degree. So the goal is right now, your GPA, from what you submitted to me, is great. I have a 3.7, and I know it will, that's excellent. Really, really good. And the reason that's so important is I want to get your son a scholarship for sure, for two reasons. One, if he gets a scholarship, it means the coach likes him. So that's good. The other reason is it's money, and money's always good. So 98% of our students with a 3.7 or above get $60,000, $250,000. Now, this is both academic and athletic. So let's say a coach says, I really like you athletically, and it's a D3 school who don't give athletic money. He may get into the school because of his soccer, and therefore he gets the academic money. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he may not so it's not maybe soccer scholarship, but if he doesn't get in, he doesn't get the money. And because he got in, he gets the money. And we don't really care if it's the money from academics or sports. Who cares? Money is money. Right. So this family is one that you can talk to if you want. They got $100,000. You are better than she is, in my opinion. Now, she wanted to go to a top academic school. So the school itself is expensive, like $80K, but they gave her $100,000. So for the family's sake, like they spent, in their case, it was more expensive, but they spent 8 with me and they got 100. So that's like the dream. That's what we want. That's the goal. So in your case, this is the price to work with me. I'm a yearly service. So I'm with you from now until the end of or December next year. Now it is possible at that point, you no longer need me. You will have all your videos. You get to keep the email system for life. You get to keep the Google Drive. You will know what to do. But let's say senior year or junior year, you're like, Zev, we have a question, which is plausible. We'll make a custom plan and we'll be like, oh, what is the situation? You're grandfathered in. You get to work with us no matter what. I just don't know. It's very rare that we do another year like this. The goal is that your son knows what to do, how to do it. He has the videos. You'll get an editing system and you'll be ready to be on your own. Some people like the hand holding, and so we do stay with them for the entire period, but it's pretty rare. So here's the last question from me. For your son, Mr. Austin, I don't work with that many students. I can't even work with that many goalkeepers. Otherwise, you're all competing against each other, which defeats the purpose. So my question to you, Mr. Austin, is why do you think you're a good fit to work with me?
I think I'm a good fit to work with your program and you because you're really showing what I really think I really need to be getting to the next level with academics and soccer. Everything you showed me is something I think will really help me in the long run. So that's my main thing.
I love that answer, and you did great. You passed. But let's pretend it was a college coach, which eventually you will speak to, and they're going to ask the same question, and we'll train you for this. And they're going to say to you, give me an example. Like, I know you think I'm great, which I appreciate, right? College coach is going to know that you think they're good. But what they really want to know is about you, a little bit about you. So I want you to give me an example where you overcame the odds of something. And the reason I'm asking is like, I'm going to have you write a lot of emails. You must, in the contract, it says you must meet with us every single week. And if you don't, we have to fire you. How do I know you're going to put in the work? Can you give me an example where you overcame the odds or you worked really hard to achieve something?
I would say being on a local team this year, and it was SCCL. It's like a very low league. And everybody always said that nobody on the team should really be at a higher level and that nobody really should
I'm just listening. Sorry.
And by just branching out and training from 2 days a week to every single day of the week, having 2 to 3 games on the weekend every week really shows, I feel like, my dedication and my passion for the sport.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Good job. Mom, why do you think your son's a good fit to work with us?
I think he's very dedicated. He's very, very motivated. He wants this more than anything, and he is very driven. And he's proven that to me, or I wouldn't even consider spending this kind of money on him because it is a lot of money. But he has proven himself. I know, and I know he's going to work for it. I know that he will put in the work because he's already shown going from a SCCL P5 team, up to a SCCL are you P1? And then now he's getting,
EA national.
now he's getting advanced on national and EA level.
Yeah, that's a big deal for us.
And RL coaches are talking to him. And I finally let him get Instagram over the summer. Again, I kind of held him back from that. Social media, I'm one of those moms that just anyway freaked me out. And so in just the few months he's had it, he has grown it tremendously just by himself. So anyway, I know that he's driven and he's motivated to put the work in to do what he wants. So
amazing. So normally what I do now is I say basically, which is true. I need to know if you'd like to work with me. Normally I say you have to know if you're going to work with me in the next 24 hours or by the end of the call, but that was a lie or a fib. I want you guys to talk it over with your family and away from me. But because of the nature of how many students I can work with, I have to know if you want to work with me in the next 24 hours. If in 24 hours you say, hey, Zev, we have a question, or hey, Zev, can we have another day? As long as you talk to me, I will save the spot. But if you ghost me, Mr. Austin, then I will give the spot away.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The last thing is, normally I do this later, but I think it'd be a kick out of it. I'm going to make a little summary video for your coach who's going to work with you. And I think you guys would like listening in on it. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys can just listen in. And then if you have a question afterwards, no problem. Okay. Hello, Mr. Hayden. So you're going to work with this student. His name is Austin. In terms of commitment level, I haven't really come across anybody who has shown me in a 15-minute call that they're this level of committed. He was playing at what we would call, as you know, a low level. Kind of reminds me of your own story. And his dream is to play pro soccer and then be a coach. And just for you to know, Austin, if you do really well with me, I will hire you myself to work for me one day. This person who I'm talking to now was a former student, went to college, did my process, was successful, and now he works for me. So that would be my dream, full circle one day. But anyways, so in his scenario, here's his biggest problems. He doesn't really have a video. I mean, he has it on CapCut, but it's not okay. So we need to make a real video. And he can't do anything without that. And he also is working on club stuff. He's been invited for EA and National League. No, he can't really move well without video. So video is kind of like our slide or our car, and he has a bad car at the minute. Now the car itself has a good engine, but it doesn't look good. So we have to fix that. Then the next thing for him is we're gonna have to pick some camps. There's this camp, which we'll talk about because he's a goalkeeper. So we'll talk about that one. We want to start sending emails to the D3s in a mass way. He's got a 3.7, so he's going to be focused on the top academics, and there's not that many of them, so it won't be that big of a list. But we're also going to do one based off his major, which for him is probably going to be a version of business or communication. And then we will start emailing the D1s for sure. It's his dream. I watched his video. He has to work on a couple things soccer-wise, which you'll go over with him. But I wouldn't write it off yet, especially given his trajectory has been really excellent so far. But we do need to get interest from these schools first. Otherwise, they will not pay attention to him, especially because we have to fight against the internationals, as you know, and everyone else. And then the other piece for him is he already has his Instagram, but we need to fix it. I took a look at it earlier, and it's just not right yet for college coaches, but we'll fix all that. Okay, good job. So that kind of tells you what your first day will be like. Sound cool?
Yes, sir.
Excellent, guys. Last question, I guess for your mom before I let you go. Let's say you had to work with me right now, which you do not, but if you did, are there any questions that come to mind?
I think you answered everything. I know the payment, I saw the 5 was in payments of 3. I guess you go over that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we do the first month, second month, third month, partially because we have a guarantee. So at 3 months, we want it to be working. Yeah, good question. And then some people are like, well, what will make you keep helping us? Your coach only gets paid as long as you're with us. So it's one and the same. Also, I am hopefully a good person. I want to help you.
Yeah. You seem genuine, but I'm a big person on character. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, good. No, good question. Excellent. So here's the last thing. I'm going to send it over. There's a contract. The contract says this for your son. If your grades drop below a 3.4, we're done. We don't get to work together. Number 2, or a GPA your mom agrees on. Number 2 is if you don't get me more video within 3 months, even if I tell you, like I can make you go to your backyard and get me video, which is I'm happy to do it, but I need video. Without video, I can't help you. So then you're fired. And number 3 is if you don't show up to the meetings that you get to book, you're fired. And then finally, if in 3 months I don't get you or help you get genuine interest, then you fire me. Sound like a plan?
Sure.
Excellent, guys. Yeah, go for it.
say he's fired, that means we're out the $5,000 and we're done.
Correct. Now the GPA thing, yeah. So the reason I say that in front of both of you is I don't want your son to work with us unless he's going to keep his grades up and get me video, because
Okay.
it's too big of an investment for you not to do it correctly.
Correct.
Yeah. So as long as Austin, you promise your mom, I will keep my grades up and I will get Zeb video, then we're good to go. And you'll show up to the meetings, obviously. But you'll be sick one day. As long as you tell us, it's no problem. Okay.
Awesome.
Nice to meet you guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. One more thing. Hey, coach. So we also want him to go to Camp Shutout, if he can. There's a really good camp for goalkeepers. Camp Shutout, and in his case, he needs to go to Future 500. He'll do really well there. And then I don't like Exact, but he could go to this. I don't love this camp unless he gets genuine interest, but Future 500 is a really good one. He should go to this one. And then he's got top academic, but I don't think he should go to masters or 60. He could go to 60, maybe, in terms of a mass ID camp. The rest should be genuine D3s. Okay, excellent. Let me just put this in his file and talk soon. Okay. Oh shoot, I'm late to my next call.
Recording in progress.
Hi everyone, can you guys hear me okay?
Audio.
Oh, I hear you.
You should be good.
Yeah, I hear you guys.
You see you.
Hold on.
Check, 1, 2. Can you hear me?
There we go. We can hear you.
Excellent. I want to pause for a second. I think I saw you guys on my live. Is that true?
Yes. Yeah.
So you are
So
live
much.
now, but I can take you off the live if you would like.
Oh, that's fine. We can
Okay.
stay on. Yeah.
Okay. They won't see your faces or anything, but you guys pretty much know all my questions, I think.
Yeah.
So I'll do my best to answer them, or ask them, but I don't want to sound too repetitive. But I do love that you were listening in and everything. That makes me, very excited. And when I work with students, especially in your scenario, because it is a little bit different than most, because it's different, you guys will get some different questions and things like that. So having said that, I know you guys have seen my information and my videos and whatnot. I just want to confirm a couple things to make sure what you wrote is accurate to what I know. Could you just confirm your grad year for me?
2026.
Perfect. That's what I have. And where are you based right now?
My home is in Missoula, Montana, but I live at like a residency academy in France.
Okay, amazing. And his mom looks like she's next to you. Are you in home right now? At home or for
Yeah,
vacation?
for
Okay.
holidays. Yeah.
Amazing. Now let me ask you this. What do you think is your biggest hurdle right now in terms of being recruited?
My what? What was it?
Your biggest hurdle. I got to throw some new questions at you since you already heard the other ones.
Yeah.
What's your biggest hurdle right now in terms of being recruited? What do you think you need the most help with?
I would say because my main goal right now is trying to connect with some Division I schools, and I've done that. So kind of converting like the genuine interest that I have now into, getting more of it to eventually, after ID cams and that kind of process, eventually getting offered,
Yeah. Now let me ask you this, and I mean this as a positive, but I mean it. I still have to ask it. Why have you chosen to go to France?
Because my overall goal in life is to become a professional soccer player. So going there, we get, amazing facilities. The coaching is incredible, and all our games are against professional clubs. So it's always there's always the possibility to get scouted. We're always playing against professional French and teams from Switzerland from like the 3rd division all the way to the 1st division.
Now, you're from Missouri, correct?
Missoula, Montana.
Montana, excuse me. Okay, my,
Yeah.
my grandma's from Butte, Montana.
Oh.
How did you go from Montana to France? How did that first begin?
Yeah, so probably in at the beginning, or like, yeah, at the beginning of sophomore year, I really realized my goal, and there is no way that it was ever going to be accomplished by playing in the Montana Soccer League, going to a few tournaments, maybe in Arizona or somewhere, but it just, it wasn't enough exposure. So I started looking at I wanted to play MLS Next. That was my first kind of goal. The closest one is 8.5 hours away. And then we were looking at some residential academies, and we saw the PSG one, and I got a trial with them in Miami. And then after it was for Miami, and then they saw me again in LA, and then eventually, with a little communication back and forth, they gave me the option to join the residency academy in France.
Amazing. Now, your program has sent kids to America before, as you know.
Yeah, they
Um,
I would say their goal. Do you know the University of Nebraska, like online school? Do that with, I think their main focus is trying to get people into college, but there's so many routes also to go pro in Europe. Yeah.
Now, amazing. Now, they're there to help you with the college recruiting process. What are they not doing that you feel that I can do?
I think you are more experienced, definitely, in like the process. And I think just having like more of a personal connection, because right now they have, they set up some big ID camps we're going to and that kind of thing, but they're not really helping you with the recruiting process, kind of.
The other players on his team, so he didn't mention, they do have, he has D1 commits that he plays with on his team. A lot of those guys have hired agents and things. They come from all over the world. A lot of those boys are working with agents, and the school does offer
the school
agent. Yeah.
You have to purchase it, but the school, they want all the players to work with the agency in Lyon. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, super helpful. I haven't let Dad speak too much as either. Nice to meet you. Okay, so this is super helpful. Now, you guys saw in my video before that I'm not an agent, and I will never act as an agent. So the real dilemma here, I think, is this. Well, let me go back for a second. Why do you want to play college soccer? Why is this a passion of yours?
Ever since, I think anything, I work so hard for this dream that I want to accomplish, like coming from like playing against the worst possible competition. I trained in my garage every single day to just one day be able to call soccer like my profession,
Mm-hmm. Now, you're talking about college soccer. Do you have a French?
Yeah.
Do you have a French or Swiss or Switzerland or what? Do you have another European passport?
Just an American passport, but kind of going back to the college route, I can, there's opportunities to a lot of the players at the academy I joined. Most of them want to try to go pro in Europe, which is, I would say, much more risky because, you join a fourth tier French team and it's much harder to work your way up, and it's harder to make your career when I think getting a degree and then trying to pursue soccer after that, when you have, a career that you can bounce back on if it doesn't work out, is really important to me. Yeah.
Okay, really well said. Now, Mom and Dad, would you guys agree with me that academics come first in his process?
Yeah, for sure. And he's balanced that really well. He's like a 4.0 student. He's always been, the student that all the teachers love. He is smart, participating, he's very present in class. He's the kid that really rallies everybody. Just the awesome kid that the teachers love to love. And I think that's the thing that coaches love about him too. He's always like the ideal player. He's the kid that's staying there, working hard, putting in the extra effort.
Yeah, super helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Diana. Now, we agree that academics come first. How come you want to help him? You and your husband, why do you want to help him play college soccer?
Well, his brother played college soccer too. His older brother is 12 years older. So when Levin was in kindergarten, his older brother was recruited to play at Westminster. And those were the early days, and we had zero help from high school or club coaches, no recruiting, advisors that they offer now, but still not very good at. So I hired NCSA and went that route. But it was really good experience. I learned a lot through it. I found, and one of my later questions to you will be, I found the most difficult thing, not so much getting the attention, because Levin has already found himself in that realm. D1 coaches already watching his reel, responding, inviting him to ID camps, was once the offers started coming. So my other son had a full ride at a school he didn't really want to go to. He had his eyes on Westminster. Westminster put an offer on the table. It wasn't quite so good. It was the nuances of how to handle those negotiations. And as a child, it's not the parents that are working these details out. It's typically the student saying, well, hey, I really like your facilities. I like your, coaching approach and how to get the money up. And that was a lot of back and forth. And actually the coach did go back to the school. He got more academic money for my son, and they put together a better package so he could say yes to the school he wanted. But that I found to be the part where we really could use somebody to help advise us. I didn't want to push us out of the game, by asking for too much. There's so much subtlety in that part of it. I think it would be great, and I don't know whether you play that part. If Levin can come to you to say, hey, I have maybe one or two offers here. This is what I'm really looking for. And if you can help guide him in his discussions.
Yes, very well said. Okay, super helpful. Good question. The short answer is absolutely, that's definitely what we do. I want to let your husband speak. I don't know if he was trying to say something. Can you hear us okay?
The question you asked, though, is why he wants to play college soccer. And I think one of the things that has happened over the last 3 or 4 years is a tremendous amount of maturity in looking at the whole business of soccer and college, and recognizing that in some cases you're a broken ankle away from not playing soccer, but at the same time, I think he has demonstrated incredible both courage as well as, and I mean putting yourself out there in front of coaches that can say, hey, sorry, no interest or whatever. At this stage, has been unbelievable to watch it happen, number one, and to watch his recognition that the education is, at this stage anyway, a really important part of this whole process. And not just, he's playing soccer right now, with some guys who could care less about going to college or anywhere else. They are wanting to play professional soccer, and that's it. And they're good. There's no doubt they're great players. But to be able to handle yourself in that kind of an environment and keep your eye on the ball, which is to play college soccer, I think is a challenge, and he's doing very well at it so far.
Super helpful. Okay, so what I want to do is kind of give you a diagnosis on your situation, in my opinion, and how I can maybe and maybe not help. So here's the short answer that comes to mind. I want to go back for a second and go, your videos are of semi-concern to me. Some of it is from Montana, from what it looks like. And that level is not good and not Division I worthy. Then you've got very minimal clips from your time in France, at least from what I've seen, which is a big problem. So in terms of Division I interest, you're not going to get any more than you've gotten without better and more video. So that's number one, which hopefully you can get, but that you don't need me for that. You can get video and do that. The bigger problem I see is I cannot directly connect you to any coaches. So if you use my system, you need to leave France, come back here and play for an MLS next team. If you want to play Division I, that's what's going to have to happen. In my model, because every single D1 coach that you come across, and I'm going to connect you to a family, very similar situation to you. They went to Hertha Berlin, Germany, same exact deal, good soccer player. You're better than he is. He's a D3. I think you can play D1. And I said to the family, unless you come back to the United States, you will not play college soccer. Every single coach must see you in person. Now, the way the other players got away with it is they used an agency. And it's not how I operate. So if you know somebody that you trust that will directly connect you to a school to the degree where they trust that coach's opinion and you can follow in their footsteps. One of the things that concerned me is I looked up your organization, the Paris Saint-Germain, how long it's been in existence for. It's been in existence for a pretty long time. They've committed 6 players to college. Like, that is not a good ratio. And some of those,
it's definitely more people like go there to try to find a pro team, and
right.
There's definitely not that many people that enjoy school there.
Yeah, and I looked it up, and one of the kids that went to Dartmouth, he was playing for the first division in France first for their, youth teams. He wasn't playing at he was at your academy for a short stint, and then he went to France, and he played for a very high-level professional team. So my concern, I don't want to say that, then this is what happens with international companies, is they kind of, to your point, say, hey, come work with this agency, they'll help you. And then the problem with those agencies is they say, we'll help you, we'll do it for you. And then the process is out of your control, out of your hands. And it's very uncomfortable, in my opinion, because I played pro and I had many agents, and they never worked as hard as I wanted to work. They didn't send as many emails as I wanted. They didn't send video as much as I wanted. They don't help you fix your videos. They don't work with you. They're like, hey, we saw your video. We'll send it out to some coaches, see how they do. Oh, and NAI schools made you an offer. You're going to say yes or no. And you're a top academic. You can't go to some random Montana school. You could have stayed in Montana for that. So for me, my concern is this. For me to help you, I find that you're not going to play Division I soccer if you stay there. That's my honest opinion. Or I should say this. You're going to have to come back to the camps for sure. That's a non-negotiable.
Yeah, I don't think the camps is like, I'm planning to go like 10 this summer, and we have a bunch scheduled like as a team. Like, I know we go to one in Paris that UConn and Brown.
Yes, I know that camp.
Schools will be at.
So that does give us a huge advantage. Now, and again, this is where maybe we can work as a team to some degree, because I've never worked with somebody from your organization before, is to go, those coaches are going to come to those events, which they will do. And I know the coach at UConn, he's my roommate from pro soccer days. And he likes going abroad, and he loves seeing an American abroad because he knows the training's better. Your kids are better there than they are here, for sure. So like soccer wise, you made the right decision. I was taken to Fulham when I was 14, and I played for Fulham's youth academy, and it was a change that my whole life. It changed everything, but it wasn't helping me college wise because of politics and whatnot. And my concern is, the coaches just have to see you in person often. So, I mean, you telling me you're going to a showcase does change a lot for me, which goes back to this. You guys have to, as a family, have to decide philosophy-wise, and you can do both, technically, just money. But you could go, hey, we want an agency who will directly connect us, and it's not a model that I do. So, and it's illegal technically. I don't trust them, so on and so forth. But if you go, hey, we want a model for that, you can pay them to do that, and you can still work on your own. My model is to go, you had mentioned that you're getting D1 interest, but they're just telling you to come to camp, correct?
Yeah.
So part of the problem is your video. So that's one issue. You don't have enough video for them to say anything other than that. So you can't really be upset at them. You haven't given them enough. That's one. The other thing is, Other than the schools that are going to come to that showcase, you are not going to get recruited by any other school by camp alone. You can go to 10 ID camps this summer. You will not play Division One. Camps is not enough to play D1 soccer. You must be seen as a showcase. So that creates the dilemma. I don't think you're planning on leaving France, but then what can I do to help you? We have to do 5 times more than every other kid. I need more clips, more YouTube, more phone calls. When you go to camp, you cannot go cold. They must know who you are before you go. They must have watched hours of video of you. So when you get there, it means something. On top of that, you need offers from every D3 and D2 school you can. You are not going to get the interest from D1s unless they say to you, how's the recruiting process going? And you go, I have 5 D2 offers because they really loved my video, but I can't get a D1 offer because you haven't seen me in person. But just so you know, I have D2 offers. You know, you need that leverage, especially going to your mom's point. If you want to leverage money one day, you're going to need that piece. Does that make sense? You're going to have to say, you can't leverage it without, you can't bluff. If you really want more money or you want to be told you're going to play every minute, you also have a new problem, which is they cut the rosters for all Division I schools.
Yeah.
And the junior college kids just became eligible at 20 years old to be freshmen, which means it's difficult, more difficult because the best D1 programs will just take a freshman and they're 20, which is what they do with international kids. The international kids are 19 or 20, and then they come to college. Like you saw the one kid from Marshall made his debut against Real Madrid the other day, which is, that's insane. That level's outrageous. And he was playing college soccer a year ago. So I guess what I want to say is, in regards to me helping you, I will show you what I think and it's not too different from what you've seen, but of course it's a slight, I'm saying the same words, but they kind of mean something different. So the first thing is, whether you want me for this, because that's important, you got to fix your videos and you need more of them and you need every touch. You're a good striker. You've got great feet. You're huge. Like, you are capable. I'll send this to you too, Mom. But this is like big. So your videos got to be fixed. The email system is what makes me very different. We can email every school very quickly, often, right? You can only, if you want to email every D1 every 3 weeks, it would take you 15 hours. We can do that in 10 minutes. So, and it's necessary for you. Camps, you're already going to camps, it sounds like, or you're thinking about going to camps. Everything will build up to that, but we need to think about that moment as the volcano explosion. They need to know who you are before, all those things. Then you've already done a bunch of stuff. So I'd like to read it. You know, I have helped internationals before. I obviously focus on domestic players, but when they're like you and they're your scenario and American in France, it's not international costs, right? You're an American. That's good. And then the other piece for you, you're in France, but you're going to have to focus on some D3s and some D2s, just because if you want to go pro one day and you don't get a college contract, you're screwed. You cannot go pro. You need the 4-year contract. So every year in college, you either transfer or you go try out to go pro. That's what I did. As a freshman, I went to every pro tryout. Some said, we're really interested. I said, I'm going back to school. And I did that for the whole time. So when I was a senior, all the pro coaches knew who I was because they had been watching me since I was a freshman. And they respected me because I had a college Division I scholarship. Does that make sense? And you don't have a European passport. So your whole, as your father mentioned eloquently, you've done a really good job of focusing on college. And I don't want to say those kids won't have a great life. I hope they do. But most kids, if you ask internationals that come here, they're like, holy crap, America's amazing. The facilities are good. It's professional for 4 years. You get educated. It's fun, everything else. So I guess what I want to say is, I guess I'll pause there for a second. Are you open to emailing D3s and D2s?
Yeah, I think with my goal of going pro, I could always I want to be more focused with getting interest from D1s, because there's always the option of trying to contact a team in Europe while attending a European university to still get a degree.
Hold on, let me pause you there for a second. Sorry to interrupt. So the first thing is, do you have any college offers today?
No.
You do not have the privilege to only email D1 schools. You will screw yourself, and you just don't get that opportunity. Once you have a D2 or D3 school you like that makes you an offer, you can say, screw it, I'm not emailing any other schools, and just focus on Division I. If you want to go pro, I'm not even talking about, forget academics, forget any of that. I'm being a bad person here, Mom and Dad. Just talking about soccer. If you want to go pro, you need a 4-year contract for college, because that's the only way you're going to be able to continue playing competitively to stay fit enough to go pro. Then every year while you're in college, if you want to contact some team abroad, so be it. Because if you don't make it, you just go back to college. Now, if you're still debating contacting European colleges, don't work with me. I'm here to help you play college soccer.
Yeah.
The European options are not college soccer, like Riasa or any of those other versions. You don't have a European passport. I'm sorry to tell you, but unless you get married or adopted, which is what I looked into also, you cannot play abroad. The only way you're going to end up going back abroad is if one day you sign a college pro contract. That's what I did. I played and lived in Sweden for 3 years after I signed pro in America. So then they were able to get me a work visa. That's the road you kind of have to do, unless you're willing to go to the 7th division, as you said, of some country and work your way up, which is you don't get educated and you're one ankle away, as your father said, from being in a little trouble. So my point is only to interrupt you to go, your hesitancy, if you want to work with me, to email, which is free and will take us 15 minutes, Division 3 or Division 2s, has to be for me, okay, yes, because it's easy, it's free. You're not going to any camps. Here's all I want. I want those schools to say, hey, we like you so much. We're going to get you into our school because you're a great student and we really like you. And guess what? I know the coach at a D1 school and I'll call them for you. The whole point is for you to go D1. I'm on your team here, but you have to be open to the D3s and D2s with my system.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, just a sidetrack for a minute, if you go to a D1 school and don't play, you're not going to go pro. So if you go to a D2 school and play every minute, there's a kid who just signed for Charlotte in the MLS from a Division 2 school. And the other kid from Canada who went from JUCO to Division 2 to now he's playing in France. You need minutes. So this is to say, this is why I don't like, this is what fears me about the agents. They don't give a shit, no offense for the language, about your coach. Their job is to get you recruited to America, then they're done with you. If you really want to go to pro, you need a coach that's going to tell you at whatever level, I'm going to help you go pro. Because that's what my coach, he got me into the combines. He told me where I had to go. He got me USL 2. You're going to have to play USL 2 in the summer. You know, all those things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because we have like he kind of like sets up the ID camps. He's kind of like our recruiter at PSG.
Mhm.
And I asked him if I should work with the agency in Lyon.
Yeah.
But he said, no, just continue what you're doing and wait till you're like, your senior year, because they kind of use it as like a last resort to kind of just like get you anywhere. Because they really just like if I used him this year and then I get an offer, they're just going to take, their portion. And
yeah. So that's it's a bummer that agencies, because look, they have connections. The bigger issue is though, they don't watch you in person. So when they call the coaches, they go, look, the kids, they're calling teams. They're not calling typically Division 1 schools, because the Division 1 schools will all say to them, I'm sure you're right, but unless he's playing for PSG themselves, I need to see him in person. So, and I know you guys might have some more questions. I do have another call here in a minute. So here's what I want to end with briefly. Price-wise, this is kind of how it works with internationals. It used to be $10,000, and I would not work with an international unless it was that. I have a new model now, which makes it a little bit more feasible. So this is kind of how it would work. Is in your case as an international, it's $5,000, and we're with you for a year. So we're an annual service. I'll send this to you too, Mom. And the way it works, and this is kind of going back to Mom's agenda in terms of what you want out of this experience, because again, you have options here. You've got your own PSG people that can help you. You have agencies. My job is I want to edit all your son's videos, so you will get me more video. I want to be able to talk to your son every day. No, even your people at PSG won't talk to you every day about recruiting specific, because they have soccer to talk about and everything else. If in 3 months from now, you're not further along and you get to decide what that means, meaning you already have interest from D1s, but like if they want to schedule a call, they ask for your transcripts, they confirm that they want to go to your camp. Like in your case, it's all about phone calls because they need to know who you are on the phone before you go to their camp. D2, D3 or otherwise. If in the first 3 months that's not happening, then I refund it. You're definitely good enough. That's not my concern. My concern is you're far away and they're all going to tell you, I need to camp. So, and you can't go to everybody's camp because you live far away. So that means they need to see a lot more video of you, even if they don't ask for it. They need to get it. That makes sense. So that's why I need to edit your videos. And then in a year from now, you will have learned everything there is I can teach you, and you can do it on your own at that point. So let's say you want to leverage. I will have taught you how to leverage. You don't continuously need me any longer. Now, let's say in 2 years, you want to have a discussion. You're grandfathered in. Well, you can obviously have a conversation and figure out whatever you need. If you want to go pro, for example, and what the summers look like in college and all that. But in the next year, the goal is, you will have learned everything that there is I can teach you, like a karate master. I'm going to show you all the moves I got. And at that point, you can beat me up if you want to. Does that make sense? Okay.
I did want
Um,
to ask one question.
Yeah, please.
I was watching one of your videos earlier, and you mentioned like for international players, like getting a guest play sometimes for like a showcase.
Yes, this is an interesting one. So this is a lot of work if you guys are open to it. But the short answer would be once we have to handle like your main stuff, your video, but let's say in month 2, we would start emailing MLS Next teams and ECNL teams in America, depends on where they are and if you're willing to stay in an Airbnb in a hotel, and say, hey, could I guest play for you? And they're usually very happy to if you pay them money. If you're not willing, and that's not a lot of money, but $500, $1,000, where they go, hey, like I'm going to come to training and I'm going to help you in the showcase, and they have to really like you because it doesn't really help them, right? They're just doing you a favor. So that's why you have to financially incentivize them. But if you're open to that, that would change. Like an MLS Next event is not realistic, honestly, because you have to be part of an MLS Next team.
Yeah.
An ESCNL event, like a Surf Cup, a Las Vegas, that's a different story. That's real. And it's something we can absolutely discuss. But that would mean you'd have to leave your club for some period of time.
Okay. Is there any like thing like that over the summer, you would think?
Yeah, for sure. That's when we would aim for.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I get the whole summer like free.
Okay. So with that in mind, that we can do. One second, I'm just telling my other people I'm late. It's the college soccer guy.
He's also going to be attending the MIC in
Oh,
April.
cool. Wow, that's a huge
Yes.
deal. Oh, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In April. Wow,
and-
that's a big deal, actually. That changes a
Yeah,
lot.
and we want to really be prepared going into that, having conversations, finding out, which coaches are going to be there and
Oh,
making
that's a big
connections.
deal. Okay, so here's what I would say, guys, because I jumped to conclusion a little bit thinking you were not going to anything American related. You have a camp thing you're going to, you have a showcase, and you have Mick. That does change everything, actually. So I don't want to write off. I was pretty aggressive saying if you don't come here, you're screwed. If you have those events, that does change a lot. Changes everything, actually. So going to Division I, say. The other model still exists, and you guys kind of saw the price model. So I guess what I would say is this. I know it's New Year's coming up, and you guys need to speak about this. I guess I should ask you clearly, does it make sense, my process?
Yeah, I think so. Mhm.
Okay. So here's what I would say.
I did want to ask one thing. How is it like different with working with like, one of your coaches, like your international coaches?
Good question. So it's different in that it's not me, it's not my voice, but I'm very involved because your stuff is complicated. So you'll be able to message me all the time as much as you want, but you'll be on Zoom meetings. And I'll tell you what, if after the first meeting you don't like them, I'll refund you and we can go our separate ways. He's very good. He's committed more kids internationally than I have, which is why I hired him. And he's good at this process. We have a kid in the UAE. We have another kid in El Salvador. This is something we're now doing because of the demand, which is super fun. But it's also to go, you're not the same as our other kids. So we give you a different document. We give you a different folder. It's a different model. And we need to meet with you sometimes more often because we're not going to really, everything is building up to the summer for you or calls in between, which is kind of easier in the sense that like with my high school kids, we're going to camps right now. With you, it's more of a build. So that's why we're with people for a year because it becomes like a movie. We're in scene 1 and everything is leading up to the final act. And in America, the final act is like, there is no final act. It's just constant. For you, it's everything building up to the final moment and everything is all or nothing in that moment. Like Mick would be a version of that.
Yeah, we were mapping out the ID camps on a calendar yesterday, recognizing that some schools are offering 2, sometimes 3, talking about getting in front of them numerous times. Is that done typically? If you're interested in a particular
100%.
school, you'd go to all 3 ID camps?
It's something we have to discuss. That's part of why we have to get on the phone calls and emails. Coaches, once they like you, they'll be honest. They'll be like, look, don't come to my camp. It's a waste of time. I'll see you at Mick. Or vice versa. Or they're not responding to us and it's your dream school and we maybe don't have a choice. It's a good question. It varies per situation. So, sorry, go ahead, Dad. Looks like you have a question.
What you expressed as the issues for an international player getting, the Division I visibility, et cetera. If you had the opportunity as a student athlete to finish your high school career in the United States playing competitive level of soccer, or staying where he is at what appears to be a significantly higher level of play, but with the difficulties of.
Yeah, good question.
how does that balance out?
Good question. After Mid Cup, I would come back to America and play MLS next.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I mean, I've watched the tapes that I've seen, and the level of play that he's involved in over there is a whole different ballgame.
Yes, you're totally right. Everything, look, if the system was perfect, they would know, the coaches would know, which is why they are coming over there, some of them, because they know it's better. And their job is to win games. So they want Americans who are abroad, you would think would be prioritized to an MLS Next kid. The problem is coaches are afraid because of school to pick a bad apple. So they want to get to know you as a human. And they can't get to know you as a human when you live far away. So they want to have you on a visit. They want to have you at camp. They want to be able to really, communicate with you. And if you, to your point, now it depends. If you go back to where you were in Montana, that's not really helpful. So that's a dilemma. And maybe that's the straw that breaks the camel's back to go, look, I'm staying in France. That's the best place I have, or not France, in Geneva. It's the best place I can be. And given that, how do I manage this? These are all great questions. I'm so sorry to cut you guys off. I have to run to my next call. So here's what I'm going to do. This is recorded, obviously. You have everything. To work with me, I have to, you guys heard this already, but you have to let me know in 48 hours. I say 48 because of New Year's, so take tomorrow and the next day is fine. And this is what I would recommend. I would recommend doing a month with me, and you only make one payment. If after the month you say, Zev, this was amazing, we don't want you anymore, I will let you keep all the tools. I won't be able to give a refund depending on how much work we have done, or I'll give a partial refund. And then at least you know what it was like to work with me, and you can go your merry way. If after the first month you go, damn, this was perfect, then stay with me and I'll be able to help you for the year.
Okay.
That's very fair.
It's a great offer.
Cool.
Thanks.
Yes. And so that's the last thing then is for your son. You're going to see the contract. It's one installment at a time. When you receive the first one, you're going to get an email that will have directions for you on like what we need to do. It's ideal. It's vacation, a holiday. So take your time, but ideally you do the stuff in the video before the first call as much as you can, because it just makes the first call a little bit faster. If you can't, don't worry about it. We'll do it on the call. And then the first thing is here. Actually, I'll just do it with you. So I'm going to pretend as if you're working with us. 1 second. You saw me. I think you heard me do this a couple times, but this is like the notes that I take. I already had notes on you because we had spoken before, but I'm going to leave this to the coach you're going to work with. Real quick here. Hello, Mr. Nalu. So you're going to work with this amazing family. You'll really appreciate them. He wants to play pro soccer. He's living in Geneva playing for the PSG Pro Academy, and it's legit. Some of these academies abroad are not legit. This one is very legit. They've helped kids go to play at high levels, and he's really good. Kind of reminds me of a couple other players that like we've worked with in the past. He's got really good feet, tall striker, Division I level for sure, but he's living far away, and we've dealt with this before. So the first thing is his video is a problem. We cannot use any of the video if you want to play D1. No video from before. It's just the level's not good, so it's not helping his case. There's a couple clips. That's not true. There's a couple clips that are good. So, well, I don't want to say no video. We'll go over it. Some of the clips are fine. But he's going to need more. And I think you can get me video from like Mick and stuff, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and we have games like 2 times a week. So
okay, I imagine your coaches will be reasonable with you, but we need the footage. So he has a ton of game footage. We will edit it for him, a ton of it. So I really want it. There's a very good chance. I judged him and his family harshly today because I only had 3 minutes of video to work off of. There's a very good chance after I watch more video that I will be more positive of their situation. So we need the video. The next thing is he's already done a lot. So I need to know, we have to go over with what he's done. He's already got D1 interest. We've got to organize it into genuine, generic ID camp dates. We're going to map it out for the summer. They've already started to do it. So they've done a ton. We just need to know what it is. Then once we know what it is, we're going to send a mass email to D3's top academic because he's agreed to that and we'll help him for D1. We might skip D2 entirely, but there's a couple D2 programs with his major that are good and are good at soccer, like Charleston and Cal State LA are top really good D2 schools that he should consider. And can help you go pro, which is his ultimate goal. And then the final piece is I need to know, we're going to have to follow up with the D1s, and the template will be a little different because I want us to set up phone calls. And then he's also playing in MIC, which is a big deal. And he's got showcases where he is set up by his team. So we need to know the dates of those to to figure out when they are. And then the mom brought this up. They have another son that played college soccer and needed help with negotiations. So down the line, we'll talk about, how to negotiate for more money / which schools would be a place where he can go pro, and you'll be excellent with this. So I'm excited to work with the family. If they choose to work with us, I would love to. It's a tough case, but like, it'll be fun because he's a good soccer player and a really nice kid. Okay, excellent. I'll talk to you soon. So that gives you an idea of your first meeting. Sound good?
Sounds awesome. Yeah.
All right, guys. It was so nice talking to you. I'll talk to you very
Thank
soon.
you.
Me too.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Here.
Recording in progress.
Sorry, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you guys are here, I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Hello, everyone. I'm so sorry about that. Can you guys hear me okay?
Hi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. I apologize for the delay there. The call ran over a little bit. But I appreciate your time. I'm excited to talk to you all.
Oh, great to meet you. I don't know if Luke is online, but
Yeah, I see him here. Here he is.
all right.
Hello, Mr.
So
Lucas. Lucas,
Hello.
can you-
It's Luke.
Oh, Luke, perfect. I can hear you loud and clear, Luke. I'm excited to talk to you all. Just before we begin, can I ask who found me first?
Say again?
Who found me first?
Me.
Okay, amazing. So let me ask your dad, what did your son tell you about me?
he didn't say much about you. I guess he didn't mean nothing about you. I'm sure he thinks greatly of you, but I don't know who you are.
Okay, that's super good for me to know. Super good to know.
Okay, but since he's chosen you, I believe that you are a coach.
Yes, to some degree. I want to hear your son. Will you describe to your father why or who I am, just so I can hear it, who I am and why you made him get on a call today?
So he helps with like getting you into college camps and getting you calls with college camps and getting you like meetings, and he just helps you and he edits your videos. He helps you with your highlight video, and he contacts college coaches for you, and he helps you get in contact with them. And there's more to that.
Very good.
So he
Good explanation.
and what is the gentleman's name?
I'm
Luke?
Oh, go ahead, Luke. Yes, tell him. Do you know my real name, Luke?
Not the
Zeb?
stage name.
Say it again, Luke.
Is it Zeb?
That's right. My name is Zev.
Z-E-V?
Z-E-V.
Oh, sounds so Hebrew.
It is very Hebrew. It is Hebrew
I know,
for
I
sure.
know. I know. It's a Hebrew name, comes from, I tell you from which, Luke, I forget, but Zev looks like he's a Jewish guy. So are you?
I am Jewish, yes, sir.
See? Luke sometimes is impressed how I know so much about people without even meeting them, but it takes 51 years of practice and 20 years of them being a lawyer. So look, Zev appears to be an agent and who's going to try to promote you. So Zev is going to do his best to do this, and he's going to give us a lot of good things that he's going to do for you. So what do you want to achieve by using Zev's help? Because you can't get into college yourself without needing Zev or myself.
Well said.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask you about like some guidance, and I had a couple questions I wanted to ask you about.
I like that answer. I want to back up and specify one thing about what I do. So your son is right. I definitely help with the college recruiting process, but I never, ever, ever connect you directly to a school. So I am not an agent. And the reason that's very important is it's illegal for me to be an agent. It's against college, what are called NCAA rules. I have to, because of the nature of the world I'm in, I'm not allowed to be an agent. Instead, I help your son to tell him what he needs to do to get recruited on his own. And I provide the tools to make that process easier. So I'm like a tutor, but I cannot directly connect him to any schools.
So, look, Zev tells you, basically he points a finger and he says, go there and tell them this and that. That boils down to that. But there's a lot included in this and that. I'm just simplifying it for you.
Yes, good point.
Is that accurate encapsulation of what you do, Zev?
Very, very good. In fact, today's call is, I know your son has some questions, which I would like to try and answer, but today's
Go ahead,
call,
Luke.
the purpose, just before he gets into those, is to find out a couple things first. First of all, I don't know if I can help you, so I need to talk to you and your son and interview you both. Second, you don't know me obviously that well, and your son has been following me for a little bit, and it is mandatory, Mr. Luke, that you are supposed to show your father a video that talks about the this and the that, including the cost to work with me, and that I'm going to try and scare your son away and make him quit. Because if I can make him quit, Dad, we don't have to worry about any of this soccer stuff, and we can just focus on school, which is the most important. So today's call, this 15 minutes, is to figure out if we're the right fit to work together. And hopefully I'll be able to answer some of his questions, but the truth is, this call today is to figure out if we're the right fit so I can help him do the this and the that. Does that make sense?
It does to me.
Luke, does that make sense to you?
Yep.
Okay. So with that in mind, I have a couple questions for you, Luke, first. Then I'll let you ask me your questions. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. So, Mr. Luke, I just want to confirm you are 2028. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I got held back.
Okay. So,
So I'm a 09 in 2028, but I'm
Okay.
supposed to be 2027.
okay, that's okay. It's actually good for you because you'll be older, young. You'll graduate, but you'll be older. So for soccer purposes, that's no problem. So you will graduate high school as of 2028, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. How many calls have you had with Division III coaches so far?
I haven't had any calls with Division 3, but I have signed up for college ID camp for Columbia University on
Okay.
January 11th.
Amazing. Good to know. Now, that's really helpful. The next question I would say to you is, what do you think? I know you have some questions. What do you think you need the most help with from a recruiting perspective? Not so much about getting better at soccer, which we can talk about later, but specifically recruiting to get noticed. What do you think you need the most help with?
I need more help with my highlight video, and I need more help focusing on how I can get access to VO cameras. And I also need to know, like, how can I call Division 3 and Division 2 college coaches, because that's what I'm struggling on. I don't know how to get their contact info, so I just sign up for ID camps.
Okay.
And that's what I need.
Okay. So getting in touch with the coaches, fixing your video, and figuring out which schools maybe to contact. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Now, for your father's perspective, I know Luke is kind of introducing you now, but from a recruiting perspective, what do you think he needs the most help with?
I'm going to have to defer to Luke because he knows much more about that than myself. Soccer was not one of my favorite sports in terms of playing it. I watch it, but I don't play it. I do other kinds of sports. So I don't know the intricacies of that sport, and I don't know the intricacies of how this particular sport can help him with college. I got into college without any sport, so I never have gone through this path. So really, Luke probably would know more about this than I do.
Okay, super helpful. Now, Luke, are you familiar? I think Luke is, but it's important your father learns this because you're the one, Luke, this is your life and you care about soccer, and your father and I care about school. But Luke, do you understand the club level you're playing is called EDP, correct?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask your father, do you know the different levels of youth soccer in the United States? Do you know where EDP lies in regarding the youth soccer landscape?
You know, you honestly, is talking Chinese to me. It could be EDP or it could be.
Okay. So let me pause and
So-
say this to your son, Luke. Can you
Sure.
please explain to your father what level EDP is, or what level you think it is? And I can interrupt you if you're getting it wrong.
So EDP, so there's like levels and like rankings about the youth level, and MLS Next is first, ECNL is second, ECRL is third, and EDP is like the 5th or 4th division in youth soccer.
That's very good. Now, you mentioned you're going to a Columbia camp, which is awesome. And
My dad also went to Columbia University.
that is amazing. Very cool. Now, here's the sense I'm getting, and this is really important for you and your father. When I work with families, it has to be a team effort. Mom, dad, and athlete have to be in this together. Dad, it concerns me that you don't know these things clearly, because just so you know, your son is not on track to go to Columbia. The level he is playing, that camp is a waste of time. I do not recommend it for you. Now, he's going, and you should go, and there's other ways we can make it useful of our time. But it's important that you equally, because your son is very passionate, I can feel that over this call, about playing soccer in college. And I understand you did not do so. Now, the beauty of playing soccer in college is it can help you get into a school. It can also help you get money. And, it can be fun, and you can have a group of friends and meet people that could lead to a job, which is what happened to me. But the main thing is, Luke, I want to know, why do you want to play college soccer? Why is this your passion?
Well, I want to play college soccer because I wanted to go pro, but I thought that since my dad went to Columbia, I've always wanted to go to like a good college, and I wanted to get in for a scholarship. And I've been playing soccer since I was little, and I've developed a big passion for it. So I just train really hard every day, and I want to go to a good college like Columbia, like my dad.
That is an amazing dream. It is phenomenal, really amazing. And I think at your age, I was playing junior varsity soccer as a junior in high school, and I went on to get a full ride to play Division I. I became an All-American and played pro for 10 years. And part of the reason I was able to do that was I was never the best, but I worked really, really hard. And I can tell your son has followed almost every step of the directions leading up to this call, which is a lot. He's got to send me video. He's got to send information to you. He's got to get you on the call, Dad. And he's done a really good job of that. So I really like your son's passion. Having said that, if you have all this passion and you're taking the wrong railroad, it can kind of go against you. So I want to ask your father, would you agree with me that academics come first in this process?
Yes.
Which then leads me to, how come, or I should say, do you want to help him play college soccer or not? We could make him just do school and not get to play college soccer. Do you want to help him play college soccer?
Yeah, that's what he wants, and I want to help him to play college soccer, but he needs to understand that that cannot be at the expense of academics.
Perfect. Good. So we're on the same page, which is excellent, because I played pro soccer, Luke, and I know you wanted to play pro, and I learned very hard that I wasn't going to make a lot of money. I made $900 a month, lived in a closet, and I went back to school to get my master's degree, and I'm really grateful I did. So I'm with your father. Academics come first, and we will never sacrifice soccer for academics. However, we do have a dilemma with this issue. So what I want to do now is give you kind of a diagnosis. I know your father's driving, so you don't have to look at the screen. I'll send this recording over later. But I want to give you a diagnosis on your situation. Is that okay? Do you mind,
Yep.
For your father, can I ask what you do for a living?
I'm an attorney.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So in this scenario, I'm being a doctor. And here's my diagnosis for your son. Your son's passion level, that's what I like to see. His video is a problem. It's a problem for a couple different reasons. First of all, I'm really proud that he made one. It tells me he's very committed, and he clearly did most of this on his own. The biggest issue is at the beginning of the video, it has no information about him, which you cannot have. Second, there's no circle on him, so we never know who he is. Now,
Could I say something?
Yes, you may.
Sorry to interrupt, but
No problem.
I was gonna insert my highlight video, but I didn't have enough time to, because like when I was signing up for it, it said that you could have like a post, or like you said, like anything you have really. So I just sent in like my video that I posted on my Instagram like platform. So I do have a highlight video, and it does like get started video. It says how tall I am, my GPA, my dominant foot, my height, and everything.
Okay, let me pause you for a second.
yeah.
Where is that video?
I have it on my phone.
Okay, so can that video get seen by college coaches?
No.
Okay, so for now, Dad, what is love about your son? I love it about your son. He did everything he could so he could get on a call with me, which I do love. Now, just so you know, your son told me which position he was, so I know which one he is. But even though he has a good video, which it sounds like it's pretty good, if I can't see it, obviously coaches can't see it. So Luke, I'm so proud of you, but it's still a problem. Does that make sense? Now, it can be fixed. That's easy. That's just technical. You can do that without me. You can post a video. My concern is when I look at your video, I have to decide what level I think you should aim for at which time. And right now, Mr. Luke, you are a good soccer player, but you're not Division I level from what I see in the video. And as a freshman, I have to decide these things. Now, I'm not the only opinion. You'll reach other opinions. And like I told you, when I was playing, this is from a 1 minute, 30-second video, which is not justice to you. But when I was playing high school, I was told I would never play college soccer either. So that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying from this video, you are not ready to play Division I. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So the question is, do you quit, which I am trying to make you do today, or do we create a game plan so you can play at the highest level you can and get good education and get a great education? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So to do that, Mr. Luke, here's what we need to do. I definitely know you have a better video, which I'm happy to, if you can figure out a way to send it to me, I'd love to watch it, is your video is the problem numero uno. Number 2 is you're playing EDP. As long as your son is playing EDP, Dad, he's not going to be able to play college soccer pretty much across the board at a top academic institution. He can go to other schools, but Columbia is not going to happen. So if you want to play at higher levels, you must try out for different club teams. And there are, as you mentioned, it's Chinese to you. My job is to make it English or translate it per se and say to you, here's what he has to do. Here are the teams he has to go try out for. None of this has to do with college, by the way. All of this is before we even speak to colleges. The next thing is we have this email system that allows us to email every school in the country very quickly, very easily. This is the this and the that from his own Gmail, which allows us to work very quickly when we do this. And the club part is a piece of it. We also want him to get better. He's only a freshman. He's got plenty of time to improve and become better. Now, what's important for your father is Columbia is a school you should totally aim for. That's amazing. But if you want to play college soccer with me, we're going to have to focus on top academic Division III schools also. Does that make sense, Luke?
Yeah.
Is that something you're open to?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the reason I bring that up for your father as well is if you want to play Columbia, let's say your son goes to the camp and does really well. The coaches are going to come up to him and say, who else are you being recruited by? And he's going to say nobody. And that's going to be a problem. To get D1 interest, when you're not playing at the quote unquote high levels, you must have interest from other schools. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Just for your father too, does that make sense?
Yeah. So, you're saying that in order for him to play in the high league universities, he has chosen right now a wrong team.
Correct. He's chosen a wrong league and a wrong team. Now, wrong is too strong of a word because he's got to start somewhere. What I'm saying is from this point forward, we have to work on finding a different one.
So you mean different team?
Different team that is in a different league. And it's very possible that when he goes and tries out for that different team in a different league, that they say no. And he'll have to go back to the team he's on now. He will have to try out every single year.
So where is this team?
Good question. I have to know where you live, and I have to look up the teams with you, and I have to help your son find those teams.
I have a lot of teams that I'm looking at right now.
Excellent.
I tried out for an ECRL team.
Good job.
But a problem is that I couldn't really make the team because there was 2 tryouts and I missed the first one. And for the second one, I came like 10, 15 minutes late, which was bad representation, and it was my fault. So, but I saw the level and I knew I could play at the level because I really didn't think they were that good. I know I could play at that level.
I love your attitude.
There's
And this
not-
is where
there's-
I really like your son. He's taking this by the scruff of the neck and he's doing it on his own. The question is, for both of you, is if you want somebody to help guide you. Your son is doing a great job in terms of on his own as a young man to want to do this process. My job is to give you advice, help you with the tools that can make this faster and easier. For example, his video. I got to edit. Somebody has to edit his video. It needs to be redone. Even with the other one he's talking about, like I don't want to know your dominant foot or not. So that needs to be taken out of the video. So there's certain pieces that has to be fixed. Now, the whole reason we do this is to find out, Mr. Luke, which coach you would like the most. And this comes back to your father and I. We need to have not a debate, but a discussion. In order to play college soccer, your son has to aim for Division III schools right now, today, which is totally normal. Those Division III schools vary in academic levels. Is if a family, you say he's either going to Columbia or an Ivy League or a very high level school, and that's the only option, then don't work with me. I cannot help you. If on the other hand, you say, you know what, we're open to top academic D3 schools also and top academic D1s, then I would love to help you. And I think I'm good at what I do. But you have to, at this stage for soccer, he has to be open-minded. If you want to be picky for school, that's totally fine. But for soccer at this stage, he has to be open-minded to emailing different schools, to going to certain events, so those other schools can see him. Does that make sense?
But he is in the Greenwich High School, so, I mean, he cannot just go to a different high school.
No, correct. I don't care about his high school. High school for soccer is irrelevant. I only care about the club soccer.
When you say clubs, what's club soccer?
Good question. Club soccer is what he's playing right now, technically. This level called EDP is where he's at right now. And that's the club level he's at. Here's what I think we need to do, everybody, because your father, I think it's important for you, Luke. Luke, I feel your passion. I truly do. And I would like to help you. I cost a fee, which I'm going to discuss with you now. And I work differently than other people. But with your father, and this is important because I want your father to understand this, because he's going to have to help you and invest and drive you as he's already doing, and he's working late so he can support you, is your father needs to understand this as well as you do. This cannot be something only. Now, Luke has to be the motivator for sure, but your father is going to have to help us decide which camps to go to. He's going to have to, we have to pay for those. We have to travel those. That is not including my fee. My fee is to help you through this process. So I think what's important is there's a video that Luke is supposed to have made you watch that discusses everything I do, the this and the that, what I cost, how it works. And I think it's important, Luke, you show your dad, sit down and go watch all my videos on YouTube, go watch all my Instagram videos. And after that process, look into this and go, Luke, do you want to try and keep doing this on yourself, or do you want me? So to work with me in your situation, it's $4,997. We give you unlimited access to editing. My team and I, we talk to you every day. It's mandatory that your son speaks to us every single week. But at this stage, I don't think you're ready to work with me. So I'm not going to let you work with me, Luke. I want you first to go over this information with your father. I'll resend the video to you, and I want you guys to discuss it together. And then when your father can, I know it's holidays and busy, Dad, I'd love for you to come back with me with all your questions at once and go, are you the right guy? There's many other people besides me, and there might be somebody else you choose to work with.
So what you're saying is that we should watch all the videos and
He's saying that
video comments.
he's saying that you should educate me, Luke.
For now, Luke, I love your passion, Luke. I can feel it. You're doing it on your own right now. But your father has to be in this and your parents have to be a team on this. Like, for example, your father, first of all, not knowing the difference between high school and club. That's okay. My parents didn't know the difference either. They're not from here. They're from Israel. But they needed to learn, because their learning was what helped us drive to find the new teams that would help me play Division I soccer. And
It has not to do with different countries. It's just that I never had to
of course.
deal with the soccer. I mean,
Of course. No, I was only saying countries because my parents didn't know soccer either. My dad's a surfer, and a Jewish New York surfer. He didn't know either.
He's surfer?
My
What do you
dad's
mean
a
he's
surfer. He goes surfing for a living. He knew nothing about soccer. He was a surfer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But, Israelis are passionate about soccer.
I know, but my father, I say I'm Israeli, grandparents, but my father's from Brooklyn. And he came from a first generation family, and he fell in love with surfing. How is he going to know about soccer? There's no
No,
way.
I'm not a complete idiot when it comes to soccer. I watch it, but I grew up watching soccer, but yeah, I'm nowhere near as far as the interest is concerned. I mean, I don't play soccer. I mean, I just like to observe it. It's a pretty nice game. But you're right. I don't know much about the divisions and terminology and vocabulary needed to utilize in this conversation. However, I understand that for Luke to get into Ivy League college and play in Ivy League college, they're two different things, right?
Yes, for sure.
I mean, you can get into a Columbia University, let's say, college or whatever, and just say, well, I want to play soccer. I have my, soccer ball here. Let's play. So that's not going to happen that way, right?
Correct.
So there's some kind of direction and trajectory that Columbia team looks at you and says to you, well, you seem like a good soccer player, so you can play on our team, right?
And your father having gone to Columbia is very helpful. It means that you have, your father is an alumni. That's a huge piece of this. Now, to your father's point, yes, there are steps you need to take. Right now, your son is, just to be honest, is not on the right path to play Columbia or any Ivy League school. Academically speaking, his GPA, what are your grades like right now, Mr. Luca? Mr. Luke?
So I have all A's and B's. I have 4 A pluses and 4 B pluses.
Which is keep going.
The way my school works is that we don't get a GPA until the end of the year.
Okay, that's okay. That's very good.
The most I could tell you is that I have all A's and B's.
Okay, that's amazing and really good. Now, to go to a school like Columbia, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, please.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but for me to just, I understand the video and I'm going to watch it, but just for opinion, how this, like a general picture, how all this thing works is that different schools like Columbia, I don't know, NYU, I don't know, I mean, let's say Harvard, whatever, they have their teams, right?
Yes, exactly.
There's a recruitment process for those teams, right? So just because you got into Harvard does not automatically mean that you'll be playing on a Harvard's team, right? So Harvard's soccer team has a different recruitment process independent of academic recruitment. So that leads me to ask you, so if Luke doesn't get into Columbia University, academically speaking, how can he be playing at Columbia on the soccer level? So that means that, he has to be admitted from sides, academic and the soccer level. Is that the case?
Good question. The short answer is you're correct. Yes, sometimes soccer can be the reason you get in. For example, he has A's and B's. A's and B's is not good enough to go to Columbia, typically speaking. But maybe they really like him for soccer. And because of that, even though it's a silly, right, it should be an academic institution and only focus on grades. But because America loves sports, it is possible that for Columbia or for an NYU, they say, we really like him and he's got the grades, but so does every other kid. But we want him for soccer. So he gets to go to the school and another kid does not. And that does happen.
Plus.
It's a plus. Oh, for sure. It's like an extracurricular, but it's bigger than extracurricular. There's an HBO documentary that came out. If the sports team wants you and you have the grades, you're getting into the school 100%, which is incredible, right? It is 100% success rate. But yeah, exactly.
So the idea is to get noticed by this university's recruiters, soccer recruiters, right? You need to be able to, somebody has to put you on the map, right?
Correct.
And then that's someone who helps Luke to be put on the map. It's just an expression that you are noticeable. Somebody
Yeah,
notices you.
very well said.
Okay?
My job is
So-
to help him get
so-
noticed. Correct.
All right. So so if it gets noticed, but in order for him to get noticed, you say that he has to be playing with the right team, right?
Correct.
And in order for him to get into the right team, you're saying that he has to have X, Y, and Z, including the videos and other interview techniques that you probably help him with, right?
Exactly. Yes.
All right. So you identify the team, and you identify with Luke what would it take for him to get into this team, and that includes, as I said, X, Y, and Z, whatever techniques Zab has, right?
Exactly.
All right. So once you have this X, Y, Z, and you get into that team, that team is on the radar with Columbia University. Is that the case?
Unfortunately, no, it's not quite that simple. It's simple. It's close. To give you an
I
idea.
I guess I was doing okay up until now.
No, you did good. You've done really well. You've done really well. To give you an idea, you have to play in a league that is called MLS Next. Within that league are 300 teams.
MLS what?
MLS Next. Correct. To go to Columbia, you must play in MLS Next. Within that league are 300 teams. So now you're fighting with 3,000 kids who all want to go to Columbia, who all get seen by Columbia. Some get seen more than others. And then you go to a camp like your son is about to go to. And going to camp can increase the odds of them seeing you, which is helpful. The other things that can increase the odds if they see you at an event, and there are a certain number of events in a given year. Now, your son, Luca, and I want to make this clear, is a good soccer player. But as I mentioned, right now, he's more realistic for a Division III team from what I've seen in the video. So Columbia, to me, is a team we can...
Division three is not as good ML Next.
Good question. No, you still have to play MLS Next.
For Mary, you mean Next, N-E-X-T?
Yeah, like Major League Soccer Next.
What's the spelling?
Major League Soccer, N-E-X-T.
Like next day, right?
Exactly, just like next day.
All right, MLX Next. All right, so he's right now is in Division 3, right?
5.
Oh, Division 5. Okay. So what does he need to do in order to get into MLX Next? Is what you help him to do?
It is a part of my job. Now, I'm telling you right now, from what I've seen in his video, he's not MLS Next level. To get to that level, he has to improve as a soccer player to some degree. But the other thing is it's political. It sometimes has nothing to do with your ability. It's finding the right coach who likes you. It's finding the right time. Are you willing to drive there? Is you willing to go to practice early? Then it doesn't stop. He's going to have to try out for that team for the next 4 years, over and over and over again. And then there's going to be another MLS Next team that's better than a different MLS Next team. And he's going to have to try out for that team. So it never ends. Now, my job is definitely to help him, but I will never directly connect him. I will not call a coach for you and say, take this kid. I will teach your son what he needs to do, and I will give him a better chance because he will know what to say and he'll have better video.
Another thing is that I keep trying, like in the video I sent you, it was like I couldn't really find many clips of me playing unless of the videos that my parents were recording me and I used those videos. But the clips that like the VO cameras have, like I have clips of me doing through balls over the top for the striker.
I love that. And your
defensive clips.
That's amazing. And your father filming is going to have to keep happening. He'll have to film sideways from now on, no more vertical. And the VO is also really helpful. We need the VO as well. And the video never ends. And I will edit all the video for you. You will give it to me and I will edit it for you. And then I'll come back to you and say, this video is good or it's not good and we need to change this, or I need more video of this, and it doesn't end. And so to your father's point, my job at the end of the day is, number one, you're going to get a coach. And it won't be me who's coaching you over Zoom. You'll get your own coach. You'll have me also. I have to edit all your videos. I have to write all your emails for you. I have to tell you what you need to do and which camps to go to. I have to recommend those camps. I may need to speak to your father over texting, but you're going to have a coach that does everything with you every day. And it is mandatory that you meet with us every single day of every week for the first month. And in that same month, we need more video. We're going to have to start your Instagram. We're going to have to start your YouTube. And I need to know about the club teams in your area that you already spoke about. And maybe we can get forgiveness from the one team that didn't like us because we've grown up as a person. You're allowed to make mistakes. You're a young man. And then the next piece after that is once we've done that, we need to pick out which camps to go to. Then we need to, again, fix your emails. We have to send those emails. And, within the first 3 months, we'll send 150 emails. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Luke, I think we've taken enough time from Zev. And we have to thank Zev for his time. Zev, I realized that I need to look at those videos to see what's going on.
I think that's fair, and I appreciate that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to email. I emailed you the contract. So obviously you're an attorney. So if something you don't like about the language, it was done by myself with some guidance from an attorney. So the contract is there from you, but I am not an attorney, obviously. And you can see the steps and what it means. I'm also going to give you the video specifically for your son as a 9th grader and what it means to work with us as a 9th grader. And then all I would say is watch it. There's no rush. Typically I would give you 24 hours to decide to work with me because I have availability. But in your case, I want you to read it over, take your time. And if you decide you want to have another call, I'm happy to book another call in the future.
Zev, I don't think I can do this in 24 hours.
No, that's what I'm saying. Don't
frankly,
take that. Sorry, that's what I mean. Take more time.
If anything, I'll have to get back to you after New Year's because
no
Yeah,
problem.
he's saying that you don't have to do it in 24 hours.
I'm saying usually I require it, but in this scenario, I do not. You can take as much time as you need.
Thank you very much.
So you're saying we should watch the videos and get a better understanding and then give you a call back?
Good question, Luke. First of all, I want to be very clear. I love your son's passion. I do not come across any freshman with your son's maturity and passion at his level. I've never seen it before. He wants to do this. It is very clear to me, which is excellent because I don't work with freshmen unless they're like that. This stage, Mr. Luke, I want you to be your dad's guide, and I want you to answer his questions. And if you don't know the answer to a question, look it up on YouTube. You can look at my videos or my Instagram. And we need your father, and for now, to kind of soak it all in. And your father's very smart. He understood what I do literally within the first minute. He knows what I do. And he summarized it very quickly. As he gets to know the language of the terminology, you guys will see the mountain you're up against. And if both of you decide, I'm ready to go up against this mountain, I would love to support you. If you decide, look, we don't want to go up against this mountain this year, we want to do it next year, I can't guarantee I'll be around, but I'll be doing what I'm doing, but I don't know if the prices will change and whatnot, but you guys will be able to decide on your own how you feel. And the video I'm about to give you is specific for freshmen. So I think this video, Luke, is the best video to watch. If you watch this one, you'll understand everything else. Sound good?
Yeah.
Excellent, guys. Go for it.
Alright.
Go for it. Let me hear your question.
So there is a new ECNL team, and there's also like a couple ECRL teams around me. And what I was thinking of doing is that next year I'm gonna try out for the ECRL team again, but I'm gonna take it a little more seriously to like make a good representation of me.
All good points.
I do think I could play at that level because I didn't think they were that good. I didn't think I was better than some of the players there. And I was thinking about trying out for the ECNL team too. But the thing is that could I try out for this ECRL team again while I'm playing on my EDP team?
Very good question. The answer is I don't know until we start working together. Once we start working together, I need to ask you some questions about your relationship with your current coach. What timing is it for the tryouts? I need to know the names of the teams. So it's a very good question. And when we get started together, we're definitely going to dive into it. It was really nice meeting you both. Drive safe and Happy New Year. And I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Zach.
You're welcome. Okay. Hello, everybody. I was pretty honest with them. Not everybody likes my honesty. Hey, Zev, can you give me feedback on my back of my new video? Anith Burhan, can you book a call? Then we can go over it. How do you evaluate players through the recruiting process? Video. Is that Alex Dean Constantine? Okay. What do you look for in a defender? You're playing out of the back is the biggest one for sure. And you're 1v1 defending. I just got How often would you recommend I train for how long? If you want training tips, go talk to Rick Fit. I just help with recruiting. I'm just the recruiting guy. Let's book a call. Antone Baron. Click the link in the bio and we can book a call. If a coach responds to your email and says they plan on attending a game, is that good? Yeah, Michael Lorandrew. That's fantastic. That's very good. Is E64 a good level? Yes. Aim for Division 3 to begin with. That's where you have to. That's where I would start. That'd be the place to start. Can't believe how bad Brighton are at the moment. Oh, that's funny. That's very funny. Good question. Okay. Let's see this one. Okay. Okay. Oh, I have a little bit of time now. Finally. Been busy. I've been busy. But it's been really fun. So I can actually talk to you guys for a little bit longer, and I have 2 more calls, and then I have to do a little bit more work, and then I get to be done for today. And then it's New Year's Eve. Okay, is NAL good? NAL is good. NAL is good. Aim for Division 2 first. Division 3, Division 2. Hello, Nico. What's up, Brian? Hello, JK. What's up, Molly, Ricky? GPA 4.47, 2027 male, best OD camps in Florida. Your grades are good. I need to see video. I need to know how good you are. Olympic development. What level are you playing? ECNL? The short answer is you should get genuine interest from the D3 schools, which there are none in Florida. So if you want to go to camps in that one, you should probably go to Masters. But I would need to see video to know more. Is GNA good enough for girls? By good enough, it just depends what your goals are. If your goal is to play for Florida State or UNC, no, typically. But if you want to play college soccer, for sure, definitely. If you have a 3.0 GPA as junior, am I done? No, you can get recruited. And you can even go to junior college and still get recruited. E64 is good. Clay soccer cards, what's up? Easier to get into a D1, D3 college playing fullback or midfield as my son's coaches. Right back, way easier. Way easier. Or fullback. What's up, Visuala? Kobe. I really want to get into MLS next. Help me out. Hit me up. Book a call and I can help you. Okay. Could you first give my new highlight video to see what to improve upon before call? I cannot, I'm afraid. You have to book a call in order for me to help you. I'm sorry, Mr. Baron. If a coach responds, okay, that was good. Could you please, wow, how are you messaging me on Instagram and TikTok at the same time? How do you do that? You have 2 phones? Where can I send videos to? Link in the bio. Link in the bio. Okay. Can't believe it. Okay. I think, guys, I'm going to take a break here. We've been live for many hours. That doesn't make sense. It's like you want money before. The calls are free, Anton Baron, so I'm not sure what you mean. ID camps are how early is it to start attending? Also, I've offered lots of free information. If you don't think my free information is worth paying me, then don't get on a call with me. And if you watch all my videos, all of them, probably don't even need me. You can get recruited with all my videos. That's how I think amazing they are. I have hundreds of videos on Instagram, all for free. ID camps, how early to start attending? It depends on your level, be better. If you're really good, you should start 6th, 7th grade. If you're not good, then you should wait a little bit longer. I don't play high school level, not because I'm not good enough, but because I can't right now. I got a chance. You don't have a chance unless anyone knows who you are, Juan. So if you're really good, you got to get them to know who you are. So they got to see video or you got to go to the camp. Very good, everybody. Okay, I'm going to take a break. If you have more questions, book a call with me. Links in the bio. They're free. Yeah, we'll talk soon. Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming. Thanks for the likes. Appreciate you. Bye, bye, bye.